Making its way to theaters after its Sundance premiere is Randall Park's feature directorial debut based on the Adrian Tomine graphic novel, Shortcomings.
Yes, this is a fantastic cast, and I laughed quite a bit and thought it was very funny and very specific. So hopefully you will enjoy it as well. If you've not subscribed yet, we'd love to have you, because yes, we are in the doldrums of August, but we'll always find the cool little indie for you. And so here we are. Come and join us for this kind of stuff too.
New York is overrated. It's so gentrified now.
How many times have you even been there?
Are we counting layovers?
Justin H. Min plays a guy named Ben who runs an art house theater in Berkeley. This is all kinds of like really specific like sense of place stuff with Berkeley, and then later on when they go into New York. So I like that a lot about it. He runs this movie theater. He is living with and has been dating for a long time Ali Maki. She plays a woman named Miko who works for like an Asian American film festival. They don't really get along all that great. From the very beginning, they kind of bicker about dumb stuff all the time. And so when she gets a chance to go take an internship with an Asian American independent film society in New York, she jumps on it. And it puts him in this state of flux where he doesn't know what to do with himself. She has long suspected that he has had a thing for white girls, that he is like constantly checking them out or flirting with them or whatever. And so when she's gone, he ends up actually exploring that interest with a couple different women, one of whom is played by Tavi Gevinson, one of whom is played by Debby Ryan. And this feels a lot to me like this name checks all kinds of films. This is like deeply steeped in the way that a certain kind of guy feels the need to impose his knowledge in general, but like film knowledge in particular.
Are you
on
watching The
everybody
Godfather?
It is that. It is totally that. It's his way of feeling superior or at least okay about himself. You realize as the film goes on that whatever permutations are going on in his life, whatever shortcomings are going on in his life, it's because of him. It's him. Hi, he's the problem. It's him. And so the movie is about the journey of discovery that he goes on. But in particular, you know, there's a lot of mansplaining going on about film. And this to me feels like an early Woody Allen film in that, you know, he's neurotic and hyperanalytical and miserable, but has this fascination with a sort of idealized kind of woman who is, you know, white and blonde haired and blue eyed. And there's a couple different people here, Tavi Gevinson in particular, who is sort of like a Diane Keaton figure to him. She's sort of like flighty and she's a performance artist and she's kind of wacky, but there's something fascinating about her, something of a free spiritedness about her that he finds exciting. I thought everyone in this is really good. Sherry Cola is pretty great as always, as his best friend who is a lesbian who sees through him and calls him on his bullshit. And they both kind of give each other a hard time for not following through, for not being happy. And then when she finds some happiness, that also puts him into a bit of turmoil because it's like the one person who he connected with. I liked this a lot. It drags a bit in the middle, but it's got so many great specific pop culture references. It's a deep bench in its supporting cast, including Jacob Batalon, who works at the movie theater, and Scott Seiss, who works there as well. And a very funny
I can't believe
prelude.
that Jacob Batalon makes a Spider-Man reference. That was like a must-be.
Yeah. And there's a fake movie in the beginning, and I don't want to spoil it, who's in it, but it's like spot on, and it's making it's also making commentary about the way that Asians and Asian Americans are depicted in film, which is relevant and comes back around toward the end. So I like this a lot for the most part.
I'm kind of mixed about it because on the one hand, yes, this is a really good cast and this is a very observant film about very specific kind of recognizable people. Part of my problem with it, just as somebody sitting and watching it, is I kind of feel like maybe there's a certain age at which you just can't watch another like 30-something narcissistic asshole come of age. Mm-hmm. It's just like, you know, and I don't know if it's because like I've known too many people like this guy or I've been this guy to some extent or other. Not too much, I hope. He's so good at playing this character who's so irritating. I was just irritated, and like the whole movie is about him finally like coming to learn a tiny bit of something about himself. But I just found it kind of a slog, as much as I was enjoying the details about the different characters and about what this movie was saying about relationships, about friendships, about people coming to certain points in their life where they want different things, or they have different goals or ambitions. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe this just wasn't for me. I think that if you are maybe either younger than these characters and you sort of see like this is a cautionary tale, I think this could be of real value. Love Sherry Cola in this. I think Justin H. Min is eerily good, I guess, because it got under my skin this much. I just watched Passages, which opens today in New York and LA and some other places, which is also about a central character who is an insufferable narcissist. And I found it more compelling just in terms of watching how the people around him react and sort of figure him out or don't figure him out, and ultimately how this character is so toxic that he may well just never learn anything over the course of this movie, whereas this one I could tell we were skidding towards some sort of realization. I don't know. I'm at a crossroads. Maybe I'll see this again in a couple of years and I'll be more down with it and I can appreciate what it's about, but I just sort of sat there feeling kind of like, this movie's really making me like just not just uncomfortable, but just so irritated with this character. And if that's the point, then obviously they've succeeded.
I was going to say, that's the point. Right. But, and I hear you in that it is very familiar. And there are so many indies like this where like, this is a miserable human being who is lashing out at everybody to deflect from his own, sense of misery, lack of satisfaction. Like he doesn't know how to make himself happy, and so he'll make everybody else miserable around him.
I mean, so I've seen worse versions of this indie, certainly, and often like not asking enough hard questions, which this movie is certainly doing. So I'll give it credit for that. So yeah, I didn't enjoy it, but I certainly respect what it's doing, and I respect how uncompromising it is in making this lead character so fucking annoying.
I found the specific nature of the dialogue really helped in making this compelling, though, in terms of the discussions about racial identity and like all the cultural influences here. And I mentioned Woody Allen. Like this is the kind of movie where this guy watches movies all the time, like from Ozu to Cassavetes. And so it's the kind of movie where like I can imagine him, if Woody Allen weren't so toxic, he'd probably be watching Annie Hall in this movie to make like a meta reference about it. Adrian Tomine also wrote the script based on his graphic novel. But yeah, Justin H. Min, who was Yang, he's the titular Yang in After Yang, was very good here. And yeah, there are some little surprises along the way in a story that we think we know. So, and Ali Maki is very good too. I thought they have some good fights and some good. Wow, the mail was loud just now. The mailman just came and it was like, anyway, I like this better
Timothy Simons also gets a shout out. I think he's
a very amusing little bit with him there.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so what's your number then?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say because I'm so all over the map with this movie, and I hope that I've made this sound interesting to people who might want to see it, but it's hard for me to separate my feelings about how much I just couldn't stand the central character from the fact that the movie doesn't want me to like him. Right. So I mean, on that level, it's an 8.5 for like successfully making me loathe this guy, but sitting in a theater watching him for the better part of 2 hours is more like a 6. So I don't know, make of it what you will.
I'll split the difference and say 7.5. And I thought Randall Park's direction was like appropriately straightforward, right? He's not doing anything wacky or overly stylistic. He lets the performances and the dialogue speak for themselves. And I think that was a wise choice for his debut feature. So there you go. It is in theaters, yes? Shortcomings.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Sony Classics.